I'm Katie Meyer. I am a content creator for AMP Global Youth, and I would like my guest to introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Katharine Childs, and I'm a junior in high school.
All right. So first of all, Katharine, what did you think when you heard about Justice Ginsburg's passing?
Obviously, I was very, very upset. I was very distraught because I know Justice Ginsburg has done a lot for women's rights, and I think she was an amazing political icon, icon in the Supreme Court, and just a really big champion for women's rights. And obviously, it was we knew she was old and the time was coming, but it's never fun to hear about someone so influential and important passing.
So how do you feel now that another judge has been nominated to fill her seat?
I think that the immediate pickup and rush, especially before the election, is not what I was hoping for. I know that one of her last wishes is that she not be replaced until a new president is elected, and I really think they should have respected her wishes since she was so important and that was her seat.
And what do you feel now about the possibility? There's talk right now about adding more justices to the Supreme Court. Do you have an opinion on that?
I mean, because the Constitution doesn't really say anything about the number of justices, and the number of justices has changed in the past. I mean, it was a long time ago, but I know it did change closer to the founding of our country. So I'm not opposed to it necessarily. Um, I'm not quite sure. I don't really know many details of how they're going to do it, but I always think that it's good to have new opinions. Maybe if they restructured the court in a way, I've done some research for an online class I'm taking, and I know that there are a lot of different ways to have a court system and still be in compliance with the Constitution. So they could structure it different ways with a little bit more hierarchy within the judges or just extra stand-ins. But I'm definitely not opposed to it.
Great. And with all that is going on right now, in the fact that things have changed so much since America was started, do you think it's still okay that justices have a life term when they're appointed?
Um, that's also something that we were researching in class. Things shift so quickly in our country, and younger people have different views than older people. But I saw something that was written around the early 2010s about having an 18-year, um, not sentence, I guess, but shift or whatever you would call it. But it also kind of takes away some of the developments that may happen within older justices, such as getting kind of like a sense of superiority. And I think humility is really important for a judge, obviously, because it kind of keeps them in check with the law and connected with the people rather than doing things to further themselves.
Absolutely. And finally, do you think that all that's going on right now with the Supreme Court will influence the 2020 presidential election?
Absolutely. I mean, I think it will influence the election and the election will influence it, because first of all, Amy Coney Barrett is obviously Trump's nominee, and there are a lot of people in America. We heard in the debate last night, Joe Biden was taking the stance that since people have already voted in the election, already early voting has happened, and people have already cast their ballots. Technically, in this um, nomination, the people are closer to having their voices heard. However, legally, Trump is still allowed to do this because it's still his term. Um, but I definitely think that because he's doing something so controversial and there are a lot of people angry about it, it could shift some of the more moderate voters towards Biden. And at the same time, there are conservatives or Republicans who might be voting for Joe Biden originally just because they don't like Trump and may shift towards Trump because they like Amy Coney Barrett's um, views and beliefs.
Well, thank you so much. That was very insightful, and I really appreciate you taking the time to speak with me today.
Yeah, of course.